Well, speaking of things to review, I feel like the people at Capcom didn't review
Oh God.
all of their notes before they release some of their last games. I haven't been able to play Pragmata yet, and so I can't really talk about the craziness outside of what I've seen online with that particular game. But I did play Street Fighter. I'm a big Street Fighter fan, and I don't understand like what is happening over at Capcom. For those who don't know, Street Fighter 6, one of the newest characters they released, or he's actually an older character, but they added him as DLC, is Alex. Alex from Street Fighter 3. And he has an interesting story. He was orphaned as a child, and he went to stay with his mother's cousin and grew up with his second cousin as like brother and sister. The thing is, though, he's much older than she is, and was they had this weird like it's brother and sister, but also almost like father figure at one point because he's so much older, right? And then you find out in Street Fighter 6 that apparently they started dating.
Mm.
Um, and Capcom came out like there was this big deal because people were like kind of shocked. They were like, "Wait, the little girl that we've seen this whole time, like she gets with Alex, who's like the older brother, and they're cousins. Like, why are you what? How does this work?" And Capcom was like, "Our bad. There might be some miscommunication, whatever. We're gonna alter the DLC so it's not terrible, right?" So people are like, okay, hesitant, but okay. And then they release a patch, and the patch was like he's doing his whole story, and he's narrating, and he's like, yeah, I went to stay with my what did he say? He went to stay with his uh a distant relative of his mom or something. Like that's how he says it, as opposed to his mom's cousin. And then that's it. They changed nothing else. And it's like, but you still say family. Like you still say that they're a part of your family. Like
Yeah.
that you didn't change anything. Like this is still a weird, like I don't want to say grooming, but it's very close. And just it being sexual or whatever, that's not normal. At least for
Mm.
Capcom, I haven't seen this before. And it's not something that they kind of just like. It's not even something that they kind of like kicked under the rug. It was like very well known that this is an issue, and that was their response. And so people are like the amount of people who play as Alex has dropped so much since this has happened that it's like this is going to start to eat into their the future DLC or whatever. I just think it's weird. But then I started reading about Pragmata and this little girl robot or AI person who's with another protagonist, and there's this weird dichotomy between her and him, and the way she looks, the fact that oh my god, there's people who are complaining about certain aspects of her body being censored, about her feet, about all these different things, and to make it worse, Capcom would do like memes or like the crying girl meme, which actually has another meaning on Reddit and other places. And it's like they're just kind of not intentionally. I can't, not intentionally, but they seem to be feeding into this weird pedophilia type stuff. And it's like these things are happening back to back, and I just don't understand what is happening, right? And so outside of that in Capcom, I also don't understand the need for people to be so something like this happened. I talked to you about this, Tess, where watching anime now versus watching anime when I was a kid. Watching anime now, I kind of see certain things and I'm like, this is not for me. Like I have children, I have daughters, I have, you know what I mean? And like I was watching The Goblin Hunter or whatever, and like the first episode, a childlike individual gets raped. And I'm like, nope. And I'm like, I'm done. Don't want to watch this anymore. And I got like killed. People were like, well, you could never watch Berserk. I was like, I don't want to watch Berserk. Like
you never did watch Berserk, and that's true.
Right. I don't want to watch this mess. Like, why is that a badge of honor for you that you have to sit through this? And mind you, I understand because Berserk is still going on. I understand like artistic differences. I understand whatever, right? But I don't understand this weird like knee jerk like, hey, I know this is really bad, but if you could just get over it, then everything else is great. It's like, well, that's kind of the problem, right? Like, I can't get over this. Like, this isn't. We're adults, right? Like, and outside of the teens, like there are actually adults who are fighting for the NPC to like have underwear as opposed to shorts. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. So like Capcom on one side and then this weird fandom on the other. I don't understand. And Ash, I saw that you were like commenting on, Blue Sky about this and how people were kind of I don't know if they're antagonizing or like attacking, but they seemed a little miffed about the stuff that you were bringing up. How has that been just talking about this in general with people and trying to like suss out like why is everybody so aggy about this game? It's a new IP. It's not even like it's Leon from Resident Evil. You know what I mean? That people are like thirsting over. This is a whole new person, a whole new game. I don't understand.
Really frustrating trying to have conversations about this because I very much understand the reaction. Like you can't let the pedos have this, right? Like,
right.
This is you're doing too much. You're reading too far into it. Like it's just innocent and whatever. And like what people I think fail to understand is the reason why a dog whistle is a dog whistle because only dogs hear it, right? So even if you're not unintentionally blowing the thing, it is what it is because that's the way that you skate under the radar, right? So that's one aspect of it that's kind of annoying, talking about Diana and how, she has these certain design choices that were made regarding her that feel a little weird, man, that are like, okay,
yes,
what I get it, but it's just like, that's just strange. That's just, and it's kind of uncomfortable and whatever, but it doesn't diminish my enjoyment of the game, and it shouldn't diminish anybody else's enjoyment of the game. And it's not like implicating anyone who does enjoy the game, like, oh, you have check your hard drive or anything like that. Like, no, that's not what it is. But it's definitely worth having the conversation as why certain choices were made and what the reasons they were made for. Like, there is no reason that Diana at a base level needs to be running around, with a full bust down and a face full of makeup, this childlike looking character, like no pants on and, bare legs, bare feet, climbing up and down off the back of a grown man. Like, sure, like, and a lot of people are like, I didn't see that. Like, I just see this like small thing that I want to protect, which is, very much what, they want you to do. That's the emotion they want you to evoke. And I don't think Capcom was doing anything intentional with it, but it's like choices were made, right? And those choices feed into this underlying current of, why we have such a problem all throughout, the history of the world with like sexualizing young girls. Like that's just what it is. I think what people don't understand also is that it is so pervasive. It is so prevalent that you don't even notice it anymore, such that when people are now rightfully calling it out, like you feel weird because it's like, no, it's like, that's normal. Does that mean you can't ever have a little girl in a video game? No, because we've been able to do this before in ways that we're still like capitalized on by people that, do sick shit. Like I'm thinking of The Walking Dead, for example. Like not nobody, did that about Clementine, but it didn't cause that immediate, like a person is going to do that no matter what, right? But at least you don't have to make it easy for them, as it were, or make it such that it like makes you feel weird or have a reaction when you just look at it. Like, because Clementine is like fully clothed, she's not doing anything like that, the way, unlike Diana, where it's like more like, ooh, it's that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. It's definitely worth discussing and having a discussion about, and trying to examine and break down why we react the way that we do and whatever, and what it says about us as a society, in terms of how we view little girls, how we choose to design little girls in video games and stuff like that. That's worth a discussion. But it's not worth, and I get annoyed, especially by people who are like, it's not worth talking about, like you're doing too much. Like, no, it's worth having a discussion about, like, otherwise we would never get anywhere. So it is what it is. I hear Pragmata is a great game. When I played the demo at Summer Game Fest last year, I enjoyed the game as for what it was, but I just noticed that like That's odd. I don't really like that. You can do better than that, Capcom. So
Yeah,
that's pretty much where I leave it. Also, as far as Street Fighter, I really think that's an issue of we don't have lore masters anymore. Did we just like forget that they're family? I feel like somebody forgot that they're related and it's like, oh shit. We gotta retcon this so it's less creepy.
right.
Bring back lore masters
and fail horribly.
as a job.
Yes, because it's your entire fandom went up in flames. Like they were like, she's pregnant. Like what is happening here? Yeah, I think that it's difficult also because we have this way about us where we, and I mean us in general sense, where it's hard to critique anything that's liked. I remember like well, you know, Tess, when I would talk about the Mario film and how I'm like, I enjoyed it, but it's basically a cameo, like a just cameos nonstop. And how people got upset about it, and they're like, I'm like, you can still like the thing, but like, if we're not going to critique it in a sense where maybe this could be better, like maybe this could be better if we break these things down, or maybe we can inform ourselves of something. Like I remember reading articles of people breaking down certain films and stuff that I liked and how they might have a different opinion, and then I read it and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of the implications of these things. I remember when the film Soul came out from Pixar and how I had a problem with that film. And you know, there was this big divide. First, it was a divide on who was allowed to review the film, how many Black people were allowed to review it, and stuff like that. And then it came down to, should we support the film because it's one of Pixar's only films where there's a Black lead? And the discussion eventually came down to the and spoilers if you haven't seen it, but like one of the characters jumping into the main protagonist's body and is speaking for him, especially the scene in the barbershop, and how it didn't sit well with me and a bunch of other people. And so it was like, well, why are you hating on this? Why you won't just look at these things? And it's like, once you notice something, it's very hard to fake it. It's like it's hard to, or at least for me, it's hard to kind of like bypass this thing if it feels so egregious. And when that happens, you cut the conversation off short, and then nothing changes. We don't go anywhere, you know, any place further. Like if we look at the Frog Princess and how she's a frog the entire film, I have daughters who love that, who would love to see themselves as a princess in these type of films. They would be like not happy about it. And this whole idea of like representation, when they found out that there was a Black mermaid, they lost their freaking minds. And so it's like there's things that we're seeing passively that do things to us that people don't understand because they just like the thing. They like the colors, they like the whatever. And I think that there's something else there. I think there's deeper things that we can get in tune, and maybe you might like the art even more if you actually were able to break it down and understand why people make the choices that they make. And while I know that I'm kind of like, you know, barking up a tree in a sense, because it's Twitter, it's Blue Sky, it's all these other places, it's social media, you can't have nuanced conversations. You just can't. Right. But I feel like these conversations still need to be had because they're important. Art is not just this thing that we just consume and then it goes away. Like, you know, there's a lot that goes with it. And not to be on my, you know, preaching here or whatever, but being an artist background, like these are things that we were taught. So I'm always going to be critical. It's what happens. And I'm a freaking critic.
Right.
Like it's whatever, you know? But Tess, I remember, I was telling you about it. What were your thoughts on some of this stuff? Cause I know we can liken it to anime a little bit, right?
Yeah. I said it was
with like
on brand for Japan.
Man,
no shade, but because it's very much so in animes, like there's whole genres dedicated to this bullshit, and it's the genres that I'm not particularly fond of. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna avoid that shit. But like, you go stay with your mom's cousin and impregnate her. Like I'm like, is that not the shit to koi kase? Like it's an anime. It's literally an anime. Like the dude is grown, and then his dad's like, oh, by the way, this is your younger sibling, your half sibling or some shit. They never grew up together. And like she's like, oh hey, can I come stay at your house like for He's like, that's weird, ew. And then all of a sudden he starts liking her, and the next thing you know, they're in a relationship, and it's like, well, so we're not like really, but you are brother and sister. Like, stop it.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Okay, this is weird. This is, and what's worse is like she's a teenager or something. She's young and you're grown, and again, this is an entire genre. That's why I said it seems on brand for Japan.
I wonder if they thought nobody would really think about it that hard. Like nobody would react. Like they thought like, oh, nobody's gonna pay attention to this, so it's not really a big deal. And then they were proven very wrong.
You
I wonder if
know,
it's something
right?
like that.
what's funny about that is that it's they show it in a freaking cutscene with like static images, so you can just stare at the you can just stare at the word. Like you see the character and you know you like because you know who they are to each other, and then the next flash is like she's pregnant with him, like looking at the like laying on the belly or whatever, and like talking, like the words are just there, and it's stagnant, so you can't even look away, or like it just flashes and goes to something else. It's like you gotta have to stare at it, and then people are like, oh, that's not right. That's not right at all. And that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention, Tess, because it is kind of anime. Do you think it's I'm hesitant to say it's a cultural thing. Like I'm very hesitant to say that because I don't know. And then two, there are differing ideals in terms of how this is handled. Whether there are, genres of this type of stuff anyways, like there are different ways of, or different theories or whatever the case may be on how to handle this sort of thing. Like you have your Sword Art Online and how that ended, and that was bananas. And then you have something that's a little bit more, a little bit more regular. And so I'm a little hesitant to say it's just Japan, but I totally got what you said when you were like, it was on brand. I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, because again, I don't want to be like, oh, it's the entire culture or whatever. No, it's like
theme.
it's a theme. This is a very anime theme. This is a theme that seems to happen in animes and Game of Thrones. So it's just a thing.
I watched Dora on High School Host Club. I know what's up.
That seriously, that is the best. I don't care what anybody says because okay. Here's the thing. One of the things I love about Oran is that Oran knew it was making fun of itself, right? Like these brothers know exactly what they're doing to all of these girls. Like they know what they're doing. They know they're literally feeding a fandom. They know, right? And this is like, hey, this is weird. Hey, are you doing this story because there's a consequence? Are you doing this story to let everybody know that your characters are fucked up mentally? Because G.A.M.E and Cersei were fucked up mentally. Their whole thing in the book is showing that they are bad people and that they are fucked up. Their incestuous relationship is not applauded. It's not praised. It is shown to show these people are depraved. Them literally having sex in the same room as their dead father. Wait,
dead son.
Joffrey, yeah. Literally having sex in the same room is to show how depraved they are. And the TV show couldn't fucking get it right. Get that shit right. Which made no sense whatsoever. But that is my point. There was a purpose to this. There was a purpose to showing this thing that's not normal. This relationship is not normal. And they were showing that. Now, is that what this game is doing? Because don't sound
no. It's what you get when you beat the arcade mode with Alex, and it's like a, I don't want to say like happily ever after type situation, but that's essentially, it's they're happy. they're a happy couple. That's what
I'm
they're saying.
so proud of you. I'm so happy. I love that for you guys. I love that you guys are a happy incestuous couple, seen as Jamie and there. And neither could most
Oh
of the
my god.
Targaryens. So yeah, good for you guys.
Yeah, that's yeah, man. On that note, we're
Yes.
gonna go ahead and
On
we're
that
gonna go
note.
ahead and we're gonna go ahead and close out